Thanks for joining us for City Council Comments. I'm Steve Erickson along with Councilmember Denise Klint. Today we're talking about both the October 4th and the October 18th City Council meetings. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me here.
It's been a while since we've had you apparently because you haven't been in our new studio or our revamped studio.
Nice to be here.
Which has been a little over a year already, so.
I've been busy.
You've been busy, apparently. Busy with all the council meetings and all the work sessions and all that you guys have.
We have been busy. Yeah. A lot going on.
All right. Well, we actually had two fairly short meetings this month with not a ton of content. Actually, our most recent one was probably one of our shortest meetings ever.
In a long time.
At about, I think it was just under 13 minutes.
Was it? I think that is a record.
So it's got to be close to a record or whatever. So we'll talk through what we have here today. We'll start with the October 18th council meeting. The consent agenda there, we had an approval of a Class A on sale Sunday and 2 a.m. liquor license. This is for the AMC Theaters over off of Foley Boulevard, and they have sounds like an exciting project that they're undertaking.
Yeah, and it was surprising to me when we heard about it, but they're remodeling and they want to include, apparently they're going to have a little restaurant, like in the lobby area, but then within each of the different auditoriums, they're going to have a few chairs with, tables by them and liquor service. Yeah. So limited, but still, it must be a trend going on. But I haven't personally been anywhere where we've had this. So it'll be interesting to see.
No, I think there was one in the West Metro that kind of has a dining or eating and drinking. That's how it was established.
The drinking came on later. Yeah. It started just eating, and I have been to ones with food, but not with alcohol. So.
Huh. Well, maybe it is a new trend, and we'll see how that works. Bad enough to have people with cell phones at the movies. And not sure about alcohol.
I know. How are you going to?
Someone with their drink and their phone could really be bad.
Yeah, they're really going to have to watch that, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll monitor it and make sure that everything is okay.
And I know the AMC theaters are headquartered out of Kansas City because my son used to live there, and so everything happened there first before I came here. Okay. So I'm sure they've tested this out.
Yeah, they usually have test markets and whatever before they roll it out. So, anyways, they needed that approval of that license so they can sell alcohol and move forward there. Their last big change I know was when they kind of went to those love seats and took out some of the seating. Mm-hmm. So.
And I saw that first in Kansas City. Yeah. They had that for years first. So they test it all. Yeah. Hopefully it'll go well.
Everything goes smooth. All right. Council did make recommended the reappointment of a Charter Commission member, and this is Stephanie Masteller. And again, this is just a recommendation, correct? You don't actually do the appointing.
Right. We send it on to the district judge for charter commissions. They actually do the appointments. So we send the name on, and it's a great commission. I mean, we always need new people, and so I love it when new people come on. They want to get involved, and the Charter Commission, it's a good one. It's something that, you deal with the history of the city a lot, and so we welcome her.
Is that because it's a legal thing, like with the charter? Is that why it's a legal appointment?
Right, because some cities are run by charters, some are run by other statutes or whatever. Yeah. So there's a legality to it.
Otherwise, the council pretty much appoints and approves the other appointments to all the other commissions.
Right. We do interviews for the planning commission, but the rest of the commissions pretty much do it themselves.
Okay. Well, if anyone's out there watching and is interested in serving on the commissions, I know there's oftentimes openings. You can certainly fill out an application at City Hall. They keep those on file, so when appointments or openings come up, they'll take a look at those applications.
Yeah. And we always need people. We always want new people. So encourage people if they're interested. This is a great way to start and get involved.
All right. Council adopted a resolution. This was accepting a donation for the Coon Rapids Love My Pet Fair. That was held at the end of September, I believe. This is the second year they've had that event at Riverview Park.
And I did not get to go to it this year, although there is a new dog in our house, but we didn't get over to it. But I heard it was a huge success, a lot of fun. We've gotten several donations now to put forward to this, so it's going to be an annual event, and the people who have been there, thought it was great.
Yeah.
Nice day for everybody, lots of animals, good way to meet, people in your neighborhood. So
Yes.
I think it's going to be a good thing going forward.
Yeah, I was out there the very first year. It was beautiful weather that day. Then there was a great attendance, so I can only imagine it was a little bigger this year. They had even more people and more participation from some of the vendors.
Right. And speaking of the vendors, I mean, this is something I think they want to expand on and let more people know and let more vendors know so that it will, grow each year. So, yeah, if people have vendors that they use,
Right.
they should advertise this and let them know that this is something we have.
All right. Well, that was basically all of the items we had. Like we said, a very short agenda. We had a couple things brought up under other business you wanted to mention.
Yeah, because I was not aware that we even had this. But coming up this Saturday, which is going to be October 22nd, at the fire stations, they are going to be collecting used medications.
This is actually in the lobby of the police department,
Oh,
not the fire station. That's Fire Prevention Week,
they,
which just
I
was
didn't want to
held.
put these on, but I need to.
That's okay.
So yeah, the police department, just in the lobby there. And it's a great thing because we're finding out that a lot of people, they dispose of the old medications in their water system.
Right.
And that's affecting our water systems, it's affecting the land. So it's a good thing to hold on to them, dispose of them properly, and you can do that.
Yep, and they do this, I believe, in the fall, once in the fall, once in the spring. And then if you also live in Anoka County, the sheriff's office has a permanent disposal there now during weekday hours when they're open. I guess they have something in their lobby that you can dispose of them
Just bring
whenever.
them up there.
Yeah.
And I don't think people, like I said, I didn't realize until recently that this really is a good way of disposing of those.
Yep.
You also don't want
to.
to throw them in the garbage because that's people can find them.
Yep. All right, and then we have Halloween is quickly approaching here.
Yes.
And we're in our Halloween attire. We didn't call and coordinate today.
But October 30th, next a week from this Sunday, up at the ice arena, they always have an open skate on Sunday evenings, and it's going to be themed on the 30th for Halloween. Kids can come up in their costumes. I think there'll be a fun, the day before. A lot of times, parents don't want their kids out trick-or-treating too much, but this kind of stretches the holiday a little bit and lets them dress up a couple of days, and it'll be a fun thing to do.
Definitely. Let's go again. That's on Sunday, October 30th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Coon Rapids Ice Center. All right. Well, that's all we had for our second meeting of October. We'll move back to our first meeting of the month, October 4th. We have a couple items we want to talk about from the consent agenda there. One was adopting a resolution accepting a grant from the U.S. Department of Justice.
Our police department and fire department, a lot of departments will apply for grants. And we did get this one from the U.S. Department of Justice, and it's going to go, this one, to the police department. They made the application, and they use it for various different things. This one was for $10,000, and it's good use of the money. They can get things with these grants that we just can't put into our budget, and that's why they're so important. It's so nice to get.
Yep. So it looks like this money is being used to, I guess, purchase 15 body microphones for the in-squad video system, a shotgun that shoots beanbags, some beanbag rounds, a covert trail cam, binoculars, 11 dash-mounted GPS, 20 straight batons, 75 taser cartridges. So a variety of stuff, not just one item out of this, but they're really getting use out of this $10,000.
And small items, and that it just goes to show you we can't, include all those little things into our budget every year. It'd be great if we could, but this is a way to augment and them to get the smaller items that they need.
All right, so we got that, and then Council adopted a resolution approving an agreement and donation acceptance for Riverview Park batting cages. They're doing something new with the batting cages up there?
They're moving them.
Okay.
Right now, if anyone's familiar with it, where they're located, the batting cages are not in a good spot kind of interferes with the new park, and they're owned by Little League, and they're on Little League field property where they are presently.
Okay.
But they asked if they could move them onto public park property. We gave them that permission, and there are some conditions with that. It's now going to be able to be used by the public, because it is on public land now, not during the hours when Little League is in there and practicing, but if it is open and it's now going to be part of the park, residents can use that. I think it's a great use of a good trade-off, that people can use it, and then we give them the land to use it.
Okay, so those will be available for public use when the Little League's not using
When
them
the
during
Little
the
League's
season
not
there?
using them,
Okay.
right.
All right.
And then, we will help monitor them, watch over them when our
Yeah.
Parks Department's out there and mowing and maintaining the park. We'll be able to watch that as well.
All right, there's been a lot of changes up at Riverview Park in the last couple of years.
I want to remind, people don't know this, but that's where we first met.
Yes, probably the concession stand.
In the concession stand.
We were both a little younger.
A lot younger.
Yeah, interesting. But they've definitely really made some nice improvements up at that park in the last year or two.
It's been a good collaboration between the Little League there and the city.
Yeah.
Worked well.
All right. Council introduced an ordinance. This is changing zoning of office, general commercial, and moderate density residential to high density residential. And this is for the Pedersen Floral property in that area
on
the
Coon Rapids Boulevard. And this was just an introduction.
Okay.
And what that's supposed to mean is that we just let people know this is out there.
Yep.
We're not supposed to discuss it. And this is strictly for a zoning change. We are not supposed to look at any specific development even though somebody's coming forward, a developer, and wants to put something specific in there. At this point, that's not what we're about. We're just looking at the zoning. I, for one, am against changing it simply because I used to live right behind there. And it's right along the street that has some residential homes, and I think it will be a detriment to that neighborhood. We did have some people in the audience from the neighborhood, but because it's just an introduction, we weren't discussing it. But that will come up. People can watch for it. When it comes back onto the council, we'll have an open session where people can talk about it, and a public meeting, and we'll hear from residents and go from there.
All right. So high density residential, rezoning that basically means it would be available for apartments?
Yes. And here's the thing, when you change from zoning, while a developer might say, I'm coming in with an apartment building, it could be zoned for a number of things. And once that zoning changes, anybody can come forward with something entirely different. And if it fits the zoning, then they get approved. Okay. So that's why we have to be really careful when we change the zoning of things.
Right, and that's why you're not looking at one specific project.
Right.
You have to look at the possibilities of
whatever
anything
can
that
go
fits
in
high
there.
density residential
Right.
can go into that spot.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so more to come on this. This was an introduction. Again, it will come
Right.
back to a future meeting.
And so if the neighborhood wants to pay attention to when that meeting's coming up, they'll be able to come up and talk about it.
All right. Other business, you had brought up an item regarding the transit-oriented development. There was recently an open house, and this is the parcel near the North Star Commuter Rail Station.
Right behind Target. I live now right on the other side of Northdale from there, so it affects my neighborhood.
Yeah.
A lot of residents came up there, and it's like I've been telling people, we went through years of picking the right developer for this property, and I feel really good about who we picked. It's a top-notch company. They've done other buildings in Coon Rapids, so I think it's going to be great. People are a little bit concerned because it's a mix of some workforce housing with regular across-the-board rents, and people get a little upset, when they think workforce housing. Oh, that's low income. And it's not. It's not. It's our starting out teachers. It's our police. It's fire. It's a lot of these jobs that we have in Coon Rapids, and the rents with this workforce housing equal what rents are going for now in Coon Rapids.
Yeah.
So that's why the council felt good about, going forward with that mix. The biggest problem is going to be traffic. That's a big concern. Northdale already now is kind of hard to maneuver, especially if you're walking and up to Target. So all the concerns were heard and we're moving forward.
Okay, so basically, this still needs to go through it sounds like it's pretty much a done deal.
Yes.
But it still needs to go through the approval process as far as the design phase and all of that?
Right. We approved it. They presented, because they also are trying to get grants from the state and the federal government, and that's why we announced that this is who we have chosen.
Okay.
And so they did receive some of those grants. So now we'll go to the actual looking at the plans for building and the layouts and the landscaping and all that, and move forward. But it was good to hear from people, especially the concerns about the traffic, so that we can incorporate those concerns into what we approve.
Okay, so the first phase we're talking about was the market rate and the workforce housing as far as apartments?
Right.
And then there would be a second possible senior component?
Right, and the developer right now is already talking about starting that right away. Because we did it in sections because of the grant proposals and how they wanted to move forward with that. So, they're ready to go.
All right.
Yeah.
Kind of like some segments of Coon Rapids Boulevard, it feels like we've been talking about this chunk of land for a long time. So it'll be nice to see something finally go up there.
Yeah, and I just feel really positive about this developer. We toured their properties, and I was ready to move in when I saw them. They're really nice.
Yeah. Well, like I say, you can jump on the train or a bus or anything, and you got the retail area up there as well.
It's a great area to live in. Yeah. I can say that personally. Yeah. Everything we need is right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all we have for our first meeting of the month, which is what we have basically for both of our meetings now accomplished. Coming up here, we're, less than 3 weeks away now from the election, and
it's a good thing we don't have to watch the commercials anymore.
Yes, the debates are over after last night. No more presidential debates. So now everybody can make up their mind and move forward. I know absentee voting, I talked to the city clerk this week, and they've basically already reached the number of absentee ballots they had for the entire 2014 election, which wasn't presidential, but they're already there, and we're still 3 weeks out from this presidential election.
And I think the voting, the pre-voting, ahead of time, you can come into City Hall and vote right now.
And anyone can do it now.
Anyone can do it during regular hours that the City Hall is open. That number is up as well. A lot of people doing that, choosing that option.
And this is the first presidential election that you don't need an excuse to vote early.
Right.
Previously, you needed to have a reason to vote early.
Right. If you were gone or whatever. No, because I did it in the primary. It's great.
Yeah.
There's no lines.
Yeah. But apparently there are a little bit here because there's been so much interest already.
Yeah. People are learning about it, and so they're starting to come up.
All right. So we have that, and we have several city council seats on the ballot, including your own seat.
Yeah.
Because you are not running for re-election.
No.
So
it's bittersweet. It really is. I've had a great time. I have loved every minute of it. But I feel like the time's right to go. I feel both candidates that are running for my seat are well qualified. They'll do a great job. They can pass the baton on, and they'll do fine. But it is hard to leave. It's been 18 years.
Yeah, I can't believe that. We were talking about that. So 97 was when the election, or that's the year that was the election.
Because Tim Howe, at the time, was the council member, and he resigned to run for the legislature.
Okay.
So
So you actually started on the council for January 98.
Right. Okay. And for the two-year term to fill out his 4-year term.
Okay.
So
now you've done 4-year terms after that, correct?
Right.
All right. So I guess talk about what are you most proud of as far as accomplishments over your tenure on the council?
I've been thinking of that, and there's a lot. Physically, I think the golf course, redoing the golf course and the clubhouse, I think it's an enormous success, and it's beautiful. And love just going up there for dinner. It's great. The ice arena would go along with that. I think we did a great job with that. There are some things that I wish I still had time. Coon Rapids Boulevard, of course, the development along there. But I I believe that Coon Rapids Boulevard is a great road. I mean, it's designed to move traffic, and it does. Because it's a county road, we can't do the aesthetics that we really would like to do.
Yeah.
So I wish we could work out some kind of compromise with the county that we could make that a little bit more beautiful. But it's good, and I love this city. I don't think I can impress on people enough how much I have just loved this city and enjoyed being a part of it and meeting people, helping people. I mean, that's what it's been all about.
Yeah, and I think it embodies you, and it's part of your life and who you are, and you've obviously wanted to give back to the community for the number of years that you've served on the council.
You know, my parents got us involved back when we were in junior high to get involved in caucuses and, you know, the different political arena, and it grew from there. And just having lived here for all these years, I've just felt a strong commitment to the city and to making it better. Yeah. And maybe it's the Italian in me, but I've always been able to speak out and loud and be heard. And it's been an honor to be able to do that on behalf of people, because I've done that a lot. People have called me and needed things, but they just don't feel comfortable bringing them forward or talking about them. And so for me to be a conduit to that has been great.
Yeah. So what do you hope this council moves forward with, or things in the future? Are there things that you hope get accomplished once you leave?
You know, another thing that I'm most proud of, for those, 18 years, I mean, we've got a new council now that we're still getting used to each other. But we've been a group of people who have truly enjoyed each other. We don't always disagree. We never disagreed or agreed completely with things. But we would leave that council chamber and still be friends and still go out and do things and travel together. And I think that's the most important thing that we had going for us here in the city, that the council works so well together. Yeah. And I hope that that continues. I really do. The other thing is we've got a great staff here. I mean, they have been so accommodating in terms of listening to us, moving forward with our vision, and they've just been great. And so I'm gonna miss all that. I'm gonna miss everybody.
Yeah. So what's next for you as far as now being less in the spotlight?
That's a good question. My Tuesday nights will be free, so
go.
I can watch my shows, I guess. I don't have to tape them.
Or council meetings are live on cable too. You can watch them at home.
Just, spending more time with my family. I have grandchildren now that, live close and some fairly close. So just being able to be free enough to go off and do all that. I'm not ruling out getting back into something in the future, because I probably can't sit back that long. But we'll see where that goes.
Seems like politics kind of gets in your blood. Is that the deal?
I think it's true. And not so much politics as how people see politics.
Yeah.
But just a need to represent people. That's what's been so great about working at the city council. It's the hardest job, but it's also the most rewarding as far as politics go. Because, we get all the calls, we get all the complaints, we get everybody calling us. But that's also the only time in politics, I think, that you can get out there and see what's getting done and see that you're being heard.
Right.
One-on-one. You don't get that in the, state and federal governments. They're working for you, but it's not as personal.
Certainly at the federal level, and I think we're certainly seeing that in this election, that people are frustrated because they don't feel like their voices are being heard necessarily. So.
And that's why, I've always encouraged young people, get involved. And no matter what age, get involved. Because there are ways to be heard. And you just have to start.
All right. Well, you certainly will be missed, but we will still have a few more. You still have 4 more meetings, and we'll also hopefully talk to you on election night. But again, the election is coming up on Tuesday, November 8th, so be sure to vote. It's Ward 1's on the ballot, Ward 2, Ward 4, an at-large race. And the at-large, Steve Wells, is running unopposed. But we do have contests in the other 3 races. So if you don't know where to vote, check out the Secretary of State's website. And again, get out there and vote.
And learn about the candidates. Yeah, be informed. Even on the local level. We need to start here.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, that is all I have, unless there's anything else you want to add before we go.
I want to thank you too for all the help and encouragement and support that you've given over the years.
It's been great. If only we could rewind the clock 18 years, right? So we're a little younger. All right. Well, thanks for being here today, Denise. We appreciate it. Thank you at home for watching, and we'll see you back here again after our 2 meetings and the November election.